talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.
Welcome back to another episode of Caged In. I'm your host, Chris DeCarlo. Got a very special guest making his return to the show, my man, Jaden Curley. How we doing, brother?
What's going on, man? I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I know you got a big fight coming up in a couple weeks. Glad you can, take a little bit of time, come back on the show and talk to you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, man. All right, man, let's get into it a little bit. You are 1-0. We saw you, make your MMA debut at Cage Titans 55. So I haven't talked to you since then, man. So let's recap that one a little bit. We'll talk about it a little bit. You went up there, you get a beautiful performance in your debut, second round TKO finish over Rafael Lopez. What were the emotions like for you walking out to the Plymouth Memorial Hall for your first time as your first MMA bout? It can be a little intimidating walking out into a crowd like that, especially for it being your first fight. What were the emotions like, when you stepped out there and you saw the crowd was rocking with you that night?
I had no clue what like the reaction was gonna be from everybody like coming out, but obviously there was a pop, but you just gotta be cold to that kind of stuff. You gotta block it out. And I've competed a bunch of times like on the wrestling mat, stuff like that. So I'm used to like the big crowds, all eyes on you. So it was definitely fun though. It was a new experience for sure. But I tried to eat it up and use it as fuel.
Definitely, man. I could see you when you were walking out that you were definitely jacked up. Adrenaline was flowing for sure. You guys came out in the first round and you both went and got after it right away, both throwing some big shots. Lopez ends up hitting you with a couple left hands that kind of sits you on your ass a little bit. Did those hurt you at all a little bit? Was it more of a balance thing? Kind of what kind of happened in that exchange there?
Oh yeah, if you see back on the replay, I ducked into a pretty good knee from Rafael. I know that you can't knee to the head, but I ducked myself into it, and he caught me good. I was kind of hazy from there on, but and then he did catch me with a good left hook while I was off balance. I fell right back.
Mhm.
Maybe a flash KO, maybe I was off balance. I can't really remember, but I just tried to wrestle my way up and keep fighting. He's a tough kid, so he definitely knew how to throw hands, and I was glad to get in there and bang it out with him.
Yeah, for sure, man. You did pop up very quickly. It's not like you were down and out in that moment at all, which is why I had asked, because normally if somebody was really hurt, you could tell they were really hurt. But you popped up quick, came back, landed a massive takedown. And that's kind of the bread and butter of your game, right? You are a collegiate athlete in the wrestling department. So that's just kind of like muscle memory for you. Get to your feet, get hands on him, put him on his back. Was that a big emphasis of your game plan going into the fight? Did you want to come out and throw hands heavy, or is that just kind of like an adrenaline thing? Or were you more so trying to lean on that wrestling base?
Well, I did want to get out there, set the tone. I threw my 1-2. I wanted to tag him before he had the chance to, do anything to me. But then it started to turn into a little bit of a boxing match, and I got kind of caught up and just wanted to throw hands, throw bombs. But after that, tried to stick a little more to the game plan, get him to the ground. I didn't really get the chance to work my submission game. He was real slippery and he was good at getting me off of him. But eventually, the second round, I cleaned it up. My conditioning showed, and I was able to just smother him, get the dub.
There you go, man. You mentioned the conditioning. This being your first MMA bout, how'd the gas tank feel? You made it through the entire first round. You're sitting on the stool. How'd the gas tank feel in between rounds? Were you more fatigued than you had expected to be? And was your gas tank kind of right where you expected it was going to be?
Um, I think my conditioning was pretty good. I think I was doing a lot of holding my breath during the first round, but once I was able to, catch my breath for 1 minute, it was like I was fresh again when I came out the second round. I felt really good. I could tell he was a little more tired than I was, and I tried to capitalize.
Yeah, you
But
mentioned it, man. You came out, you picked up kind of right where you left off. He did look like he kind of lost a step in the energy department there. He definitely looked a little bit more winded than you do coming out in round two. Then you go right back to work, get a takedown, and not much longer than that, you're on top, raining heavy shots. Ground and pound TKO finish. This being your MMA debut, man. Looking back on it, looking back on the emotions of the night, how did everything go for you emotionally? How'd you feel afterwards? When you got your hand raised.
it's a great feeling, but the wrestler's mentality, you're used to just getting right back to work. I was just hungry for another fight. I had my whole wrestling season in the way of that, though. I had to go. I had a pretty good wrestling season over at Roger Williams. But after the wrestling season, I was right back. I want to get right back in the cage, and it's on to the next. Always on to the next.
Yes, sir, man. The next one's always the best one, as they say. You did
Yes, sir.
mention, your wrestling career over at Roger Williams. That's obviously why we haven't seen you since last summer. How'd the
Yeah.
season go this year over there with the boys at Rogers Williams? How'd you guys do it? And then how'd you do individually?
I did all right. I had around like 19 wins, 8 or 9 losses. Um, I had a hard first half of the season. This is my first time starting on the college team, so I got beat up a little bit. But second half of the season, I ended up doing pretty well. I placed sixth in the region, which is the Northeast.
Nice.
Um, Obviously, I got 1 more year left, so I'm obviously trying to do better next year, qualify for nationals. But the guys really worked hard, and we had a lot of region placers, so very proud of those guys.
That's awesome, man. It's also cool for like me as someone that knows you now to like see you on like social media talking about and like posting all the wrestling stuff. It's like that wrestling. I've never been in a wrestling team or any type of wrestling room, but it just seems like the camaraderie and everything that you guys have for a wrestling team. It's really cool to watch. So I love watching like not even just you, but like other wrestlers on social media that are always posting their collegiate season and stuff. It seems really cool.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely I'm a big fan of wrestling. That's all I love. I could watch wrestling all day, talk about wrestling all day. I love that stuff. We go hard in the wrestling room. Beat each other up every single day for hours. So I'm proud to see their hard work come to fruition. You know what I mean?
For sure, man. And you're taking that wrestling and you're going over to Brazilian top team and transitioning that into MMA. I know that's where you were at your last camp. I know you're still over there at BTT. Is that the gym that you call home now? Are you, outletting anywhere else, cross training anywhere else, or is everything you're doing kind of at home over there at BTT?
Yeah, I mean, I try to make my way out other places, but I'm definitely solely BTT. Jair, Tyler, JoJo, those guys have my back. They've taken me under their wing. I really want to make sure I'm staying loyal to them, but at the same time, it's always good to get other looks. I've popped out to Citadel in Boston. Me and
Nice.
JoJo were planning on going to AK in California. It didn't work out. But
Mhm.
I definitely think that option is still open for the future, and that's something I'd like to do. Get some work out there with some really, really legit guys. But I'm always open to getting work. Everyone wants to get as many looks as they can, but obviously I would call Taunton home. That's where I like to train.
Definitely, man. I've noticed that the group over there on the mats at BTT Taunton is filling out. Like every time I see photos posted from whoever was rolling that night, it seems like the group picture just keeps getting bigger and bigger. More
Oh
people that
yeah.
I've seen that weren't really training there before are now popping up on the mats over at BTT. So definitely a lot of high level guys are now are like that were already there, and then now even more are flooding in as well. So you guys definitely got a solid core over there for sure.
Well, yeah, like when I first started training there, we were over like behind the Taunton police station at a smaller location, and Jair was saying, I got to get a new place because it's just not big enough, and I feel like it's getting to that point again where he might have to upsize it because there's just so many people coming. He's a really good professor, and all the guys really like the work that we put in. So,
Definitely, man. The
I
group
mean,
is growing, man. You guys got some dogs in there for sure. Who are we gonna see in your corner out there walking out with you July 22nd?
well, unfortunately, Jair JoJo won't be able to make it. They both have some prior plans already, but I'm gonna have Tyler with me. I'm gonna have Brandon Conrad with me again. I'm looking to get Justin Burl in my corner. He's fought for Cage Titans a few times, and those three guys, they can definitely help me get the job done.
Definitely, man. Let's get into it then. Cage Titan 60. Um, I've noticed that your fight has not been announced anywhere by Cage Titans, so maybe we're breaking some news and we're gonna announce it right here. You're taking on Steve Hill, who is 1-1, trains over at US MMA. What do you know about this kid? What do you know about his game? And then how do you feel about this matchup?
I'm excited. Steve, he brings a lot of the same kind of energy as me. He's got a lot of energy when he's out there. He's very athletic too. He jumps on a lot of stuff. He smells blood and he goes after it. I heard, I don't know if it's true. I heard that he might have been a wrestler in high school, so maybe he's going to try to do some wrestling with me. He seems like a guy who's got a good handle on all of it. He can do a little bit of striking, a little bit of jujitsu, a little bit of wrestling, but I'm hoping that, my wrestling, my jiu-jitsu, my striking can all outweigh his, hopefully get the job done once again.
Yes, sir. It's the last time we've seen you, man. We talked about it. Cage Titans 55, coming up on a year since the last time we've seen you. How do you feel like your overall mixed martial arts skills, and your mixed martial arts ability has evolved since the last time we've seen Jaden Curley at Cage Titans?
Well, obviously, I got my wrestling season under my belt, another wrestling season of a lot of matches, more matches than last year. So I definitely think my wrestling is a little bit stronger. I definitely still need to work on things like even in my wrestling, but my jiu-jitsu is getting stronger. And obviously, I got dropped last fight. I've been working on my hands as much as I can, keeping my hands up, throwing smart punches. But other than that, I'm just trying to clean everything up a little bit. Mostly, my hands, my jujitsu. I'm confident that my wrestling can get the job done and that I won't have to worry too much about that. But obviously, it's still in the back of my mind that that's something that I could possibly get exposed for. So I got to make sure that everything, all three, the big three, the Muay Thai, the jujitsu, the wrestling, that everything is 100% by the time I get out there.
Yes, sir, man. That kind of stuff also comes along with, experience and maturity in the sport as well. You are still so young and so fresh in the sport. You're still figuring it out. You're still putting it together, but you have a very solid base to, rocket ship yourself into like the stratosphere of being a very successful mixed martial artist. So I'm very excited to see what we're going to get with part 2 of Jaden Curley coming up this summer. Do you have any kind of like added pressure to you now that since the first debut, everybody's so high on you now, the Cage Titans fan base, the hardcore fans that were in the building that night that you fought, everybody's been waiting to see you again. It's been a year since we've gotten to see you in the cage. Does that kind of play into the mental game at all for you at all?
Well, honestly, things like that, that definitely put some pressure on somebody, but this is something, like I said, I've always wanted to do. So I always knew that this is what was going to come with it, having to deal with, the things on social media, dealing with sponsorships. I see those all as a plus, not a negative, that's stuff that I'm glad I'm able to do. Like right now, I'm not working because I was supposed to go to AK, but now I still don't have to. I have sponsors that have my back and stuff like that. I can just train, focus on fighting. And right now it's my number one priority.
That's awesome, man. I love to hear that. What can the fans at Plymouth Memorial Hall expect from Jaden Curley once that cage door locks on July 22nd, man?
Violence, man. It's going to be dangerous. I know Steve Hill doesn't go out without putting up a fight, and I don't do it either. So, I mean, I'm guessing it's just going to be a war from the start.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a very fun fight, a very fun night overall. The card is shaping up and it's looking pretty great, man. So looking like it's going to be a good event over at Cage Titan 60, man. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, make sure you guys hit up your favorite fighter, go to the website, get your tickets because you're not going to want to miss this one. Jay, I appreciate the time as always, man. Before I get you out of here, you got anybody you want to shout out? Anybody you want to thank?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I would like to shout out, Two Fight Bros, one of my sponsors. Those are great guys. All-star subs out in Warwick, first team New England. I'm wearing their threads right now.
Yes, sir.
Also you, bro, you're sponsoring me too.
Yeah,
And,
sir.
I really appreciate that. But, other than that, my friends, my family, they always have my back. And I really appreciate all of them. Shout out to everybody over in Taunton. Those guys, they always have my back. But other than that, man, I mean, I don't really have anybody else to shout out.
Yeah, for sure. Last time out, man, you brought out a pretty solid crowd, man. You had a lot of people in the building rooting for you. You got a good amount of tickets sold this time. We're going to see a big Jaden Curley fan base in the building this July 22nd.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I mean, I obviously picked up a few fans, and some people can't make it. Some people will be able to make it. So I'm hoping for, a similar outcome. You know what I mean?
For sure, man. All right, Jaden, I appreciate the time, brother. Always a pleasure talking to you. I'll see you in the building at Plymouth Memorial Hall, July 22nd. Go out there, get that W, move the needle to 2-0, and then, on to the next.
That's right. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Got down for the count and he can't even talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.